everybody, and welcome to another video. Now this video is going to be a little bit different from the norm. Rather than putting loads of little clips on, we're just going to be doing one trip on the Uber app, and it's all about how badly Uber treat their drivers. And I'm going to try to do two tales from the cab at the same time, even though the stories I'm going to tell you are not from the cab. But first,
shall we play a game?
If you know what film that's out of, let us know in the comments down below. That's quite an easy one, but that's not the game that we're playing today. We are playing Guess the Fare. Yes, can you guess the fare? I will give you a couple of little heads up on this as we go along. I'm not going to actually show you exactly where I picked this person up from, because that is breaking every rule under the sun, but it is very close to here, within sort of 30 seconds or so. And this is the trip. It's 23 minutes and 6 seconds. This is what gets me about Uber. They 6.99. It's fucking 7 miles. Don't give me any of that nonsense. It's 7 miles. It's mind games. It's like putting a price on something when they say £2.99. You know it's closer to £3, so you would say £3, but it messes with your mind. So they seem to think that if you put 6 there, 6 miles. No, it's 7. Now the customer is in the car, a lovely woman, and I know that she's a lovely woman because the first thing she does when she gets in the car, she asks me if she can put her window down. Lots of people just get in and open the window, start drinking and eating and all that sort of stuff, but she asked me, and I always say yes to that. Who wouldn't? But it's one of the things that you can never get right as a private hire driver. Customers get in, some are hot, some are cold, and you have to put the heater on for some and open the windows and put the aircon on for the others. You can never, you can never get it right, and I do wish that more people would ask me to do a temperature thing, what they wanted in the car, because they want to be comfortable. You know, they could be sitting in the car for quite a while and they want to be comfortable, and I want them to be comfortable. We're looking at the van now. Isn't it refreshing to see someone using giveaway lines correctly? Giveaway lines, as I've always said, it means from the left and the right, and he did it perfectly. So yeah, very refreshing. Now in a little while you'll see a bike coming out. There he is. Now this idiot isn't going to be an idiot on the road for very long. He's going to be an idiot in a cemetery very shortly, because, well, some of you might not know actually, on a motorbike, a scooter, whatever, indicators on these things do not turn off automatically like they do in a car. You have to physically turn them off. And obviously on a bike that could be life-threatening. If you don't turn them off and someone pulls out in front of you, it could be curtains for you. I will show you that a little bit later. Now this woman over there to the right hand side, I should be giving way to her, so should the bike in front of me, but I can see that this woman is not interested in keeping me waiting. She's looking around her and everything else. So I get the feeling that she's old school and she's gonna let me go. So I don't wait for her, and yeah, and all the rules and all that sort of stuff, I should be waiting for her. So the guy in front of me now, he's indicating. He indicated to turn left back there, and obviously has left it on. Now I think I'm doing him a favour here by staying here, because cars coming out from the left here, cars coming across him here, the red one, they could have actually gone across him, pulled out in front of him, thinking that he's turning left there. Now they've seen me there obviously, and maybe they thought, well, even if he is turning left, the car isn't. So yeah, I've maybe done him a favour there. It is an easy thing to do though, to leave your indicators on a bike. As I said, they do not turn off automatically. Okay, so now it's time for...
Welcome to Tales from the Cab. Welcome to Tales from the Cab.
So one of the questions I get asked quite a lot is, how many times have I been to court? Now believe it or not, it's not that many. I'm not like a well-known YouTuber cyclist that always seems to be in court. It's as little as 4 times. Yep, 4 times. One of them I've already shared with you already, when my friend Eric got hit by an off-duty, pissed out of his head policeman. That was on another Tales from the Cab. Another one, unfortunately, was I had to go to coroner's court to give evidence on a cyclist that was killed right in front of me. Fucking horrible day. Horrible day. Both days. The day of the accident and the coroner's court where you had to relive everything. It was fucking horrible. And apologies for my language, but it really was. Jury service. I've done jury service. And the last one is the one that I want to talk to you about on this episode of Tales from the Cab. It was me going to court, believe it or not, for tax evasion. Yep, and tax evasion is world famous because of the name Al Capone. It's the only thing that they could actually nick him on was tax evasion, and they actually, well, they tried to nick me on tax evasion, put it that way. It was a long time ago. We're looking at nearly 40 years now. Now, before I go any further, in this trip now, the customer is going to ask me, can I change my destination? This is all part of the story that I'm telling you about the ride.
Is it possible to add a trip?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not sure how to do this. It's just down. It's just 5 minutes from where I live, but I have to pick up my son first.
Uh-huh. So, as I say, a lovely lady. Most people, when they do that, they just do it. And they don't even tell you where you're going or anything. She told me everything that I needed to know. And can she do it? Not, I'm going to do it. Can I do it? So, not a problem. And it comes through on the app. She's done it official and everything else through the app. And it changes the app destination and everything else. But what all it is, she's adding a stop. We're still going to the original place, but she wants to go on further than that. We're picking someone up and she wants to go a little bit further on the journey. And that is all part of this story on this trip, okay? So now it's back to court. We're talking about days before mobile phones, before emails, before all of that sort of stuff. You had to either write a letter to these people or you had to phone them up. As most of you know, I am not very good at writing letters, so I did try to phone these people up. This is after I received a letter from the Inland Revenue saying that I owe tax, and I didn't believe I did, and it was quite a lot of money that they were asking for as well. And it was money that I didn't have, and it was money that I didn't believe I owed. Because I wasn't self-employed then, I wasn't doing my own books, I didn't even know how to do my own books. I was on the cards, I had a proper job back then, a proper job. So as I say, I did try to phone these people, but every time I phoned them, it fell on deaf ears for some reason. It was just really weird. My dad even tried. My dad tried to get in touch with these people and he had no luck. I even asked my boss if he would actually phone these people up, and he did. And it fell on deaf ears again. So I didn't know what to do. In the end, I did what every bloke tends to do and bloody ignore it. Yes, so I buried my head in the sand and just hoped that it just went away. They don't, do they? The tax man doesn't actually go away. It will always catch up with you in the end. And it did, with a letter saying, you've got to go to court. Here's the date, here's the time, and we'll see you in court. Again, I tried to contact them. I tried to contact the court, but no one was actually listening to me. Whether I wasn't explaining it very well to them or not, I do not know. But it looked like I was going to have my day in court, and I did. So, court day comes along. So off I jolly well trot to court with my evidence of what I had of pay slips and an SC60 for that year. I roll up there all on my own, no lawyer, no barrister, no one. I was there all on my own, and I was given a court number to go outside and wait outside the courtroom. It was a big long corridor with loads of different courtrooms for different people, and I was the only one that didn't have some sort of barrister or lawyer with them, or a member of family or someone with them. I was there all on my own with a little folder in my hand, waiting. And a guy comes down the corridor taking everyone's names, making sure everyone's at the right court number and all that sort of stuff. And he's got his little cloak on, you know, that the barristers wear in this country. And he's gone all the way down the list and taken my name and gone off again. And then as I'm looking down the corridor, I can see a familiar face coming towards me. My dad. My dad come walking towards me. My legal representative come walking towards me. Oh, I can't believe I'm saying this. He actually walked towards me. He's got a breast pocket full up with betting slips. He's got a bookie's pen behind his ear. He's got a Sporting Life under his arm, and he's smoking a fag, a cigarette to you people who don't know what fags are. All that was missing was a 4-pack of beer and a knotted hanky on his head, and that is my legal representative. But it was really nice to see a familiar face in such horrible circumstances. Now, he was there for about 30 seconds before he said, I've got to go and get a cup of tea, and off he went to try and find a cup of tea. Now, for those of you who are concentrating on the driving here, I couldn't move over to the left until that van undertook me. It was on my side the whole time down this road, and I'd only pulled out into lane 2 because the BT van pulled out in front of me. So back to court. A few minutes later, Dad turns up with his cup of tea and one for me. So we're sitting there having our cup of tea, waiting for our name, or my name, to be called out. But you have to picture the scene here. It's a big long corridor with barristers all walking up and down, barristers sitting with their clients and everything, and I've got my dad sitting there with a Sporting Life writing out his betting slips. We must have looked like a right couple of pikeys, we really must have. But this guy comes up to us, and we've been there for quite a while now, you know, sort of like half hour or so, and then this guy comes up to us, he calls out my name, I stand up, and he looks at me and he says, so where is your evidence? I said, it's here in this folder, you know, and I gave him my SC60. He had a look at it. He said, can I go and get a photograph of this, get a photocopy of this? I said, yeah, of course you can. Off he went, got a photocopy of it, came back. He said, have you got any more evidence for, you know, for this case? I said, I've got all my wage slips for this particular year that you're saying that I owe tax on. He said, can I see them? And I showed him the wage slips, and then he looked me up and down like I was from Mars or something, because he basically saw that the wage slips were exactly the same as his. He works for the government, and so did I, and it surprised the hell out of him that I was working for the government the same as him. Obviously my part of government, I was a little bit more physical than his side of government, but they were the same bloody wage slips. So yes, that might surprise a few of you. I did actually work for the government. I have signed the Official Secrets Act, so I'm not going to say too much about what I did for a living working for the government, but I worked for the government. Yes, and now I'm one of Sadiq Khan's licensed to kill assassins, so the same sort of thing really. So off this guy trots with all my wage slips, my SC60. If you don't know what an SC60 is, it's what you pay throughout the whole year of your tax. Just in case there's people that don't know what that is. I think it's called an SC60 anyway, not unless I'm mistaken. Anyway, he trots off and he comes back about 10 minutes later. He said, you got nothing to answer to. There's been a terrible mix-up and you can go home. And that was the end of that court day for my tax evasion. And this here is a picture of me and my dad. I don't know what that kid is doing sitting on top of me, but there you go. Yes, this is me and my dad at Pontins at the Kentucky Derby. He would bet on everything. He bet on me, and I went round the first bend and I fell off, and I got quite upset because I let everyone down that put bets on me. But yeah, as you can see, it's the 70s because you can see that I am wearing flares. Oh dear, and so is my dad by the look of it. So I know some of you will be saying, what the hell could I have done working for the government? Well, I used to deal with our overseas diplomats in war-torn countries most of the time. And let me tell you something, them war-torn countries nearly 40 years ago are still war-torn countries. Yeah, there will never be peace out in these places. Yeah, part of my job was to send them stuff, what they needed, and that. Yeah, but I did get a transfer, and this leads now onto my second.
Welcome to Tales from the Cab. Welcome to Tales from the Cab.
Now, working for the government can be bloody boring, and I asked for a transfer. I was fed up with dealing with what I was dealing with, and I asked for a transfer, and I got a transfer, working in the same building but working with the police. Now this leads me on to this next story. Now, part of my job, I can't go into too much details, but part of my job was dealing with the police. The police came to my offices all the time and asked me to do this, that and the other and blah blah blah. Now, one of the things that they turned up, the two police women turned up one day, and they said to me straight away, "Tony, we need a man." And I was like, okay, I can probably help you out with that one, but we need about 4 of them, at least 4 men. And it was like, okay, what have you got in mind? And they told me that they needed 4 men that looked like me, at least 4 men that looked like me. You had to be over 6 foot, be dark haired, and be slim to medium build. Back then I'm still over 6 foot, but I'm not slim to medium build anymore. So I said, okay, I'll have to check it out with the boss, but I do need a little bit more information than that. What do you need us for? And what it was, they've caught someone for a serious crime, and they needed some bodies to be in a police lineup. And of course, we love doing police lineups. Why? Because it got us out of the office for a bit, and you actually got paid for them. Back in the 80s, you got paid. I don't know whether you do now, but back then you get paid £4 to just stand there by your number and have someone walk past you and say, no, it's not him. And you got paid £4. Back in the 80s, that would get you at least 2 pints and have change. So I went and asked the boss. He was fine with it. So this will give you some idea of the office that I worked in. I knew exactly who I was going to have. I went and asked Gordon if he was up for it. He's a former Queen's Guardsman. He was up for it. I went and asked Paul, a former Royal Marine. He was up for it. I asked Phil. He was up for it, a former paratrooper. So you can tell what sort of office it is. Then you got me, front row marcher of the Boys Brigade. But then, just for a laugh, I thought I'd ask Pat. Now Pat was a sergeant major of the albino Oompa Loompa Brigade in Camberwell. Now he had the brightest blonde hair you've ever seen. He was so white, he was almost see-through. He would have to sunbathe for 2 weeks to be white. Now we've got to take a little break in the action here and get back to the driving part of the Uber pricing. We're coming up to my destination for the first drop for this lady. As you can see down in the bottom right hand side, it's 16 minutes past 9. Have you got your prices ready for what I'm about to show you for that trip just to here? The second part of the journey after I pick up another person will be coming at the end of the video. So just to hear, what do you think I made? Here's the price. Yep, so £10.72. The rest of it I've covered up because that would ruin it for the next part of the journey here. So £10.72 was the price that I was offered to take her to this destination now. Now that she wants to go on to the high street is a little bit different. They've got to add on, and it's under the subscribe button there. Where it says subscribe is the total figure at the end of this. So remember that, £10.72, and we will continue. As you can see, I've picked them up now. I had to wait 3 minutes for the other person to get in the car, but we've been hit by the level crossing here, so we've got to wait. And with Uber's policy now, the way they run things, it's fixed pricing. So anything like this, any heavy traffic or anything like that, the price, it goes up fractions. It's so minuscule, it's not even worth putting any money on it. It's really, it's just a joke. But years ago they used to run it almost like an invisible meter in the car, and it would be clocking up now, but not much, not like a black taxi or anything like that. They clock up quite quickly, but Ubers don't. But in this case, I'm on a fixed fare, so you don't get any extra for waiting for things like this. So getting back to the story of the police. So I've brought these guys downstairs to the police women that were waiting for us downstairs. These strapping guys have walked in, and then there was Pat, the Oompa Loompa, the albino Oompa Loompa that didn't fit the bill to what they asked. And I did expect them to have a little chuckle and say, come on, Tone, what are you messing about at? But whether they were too embarrassed or not, I do not know. And they just said, okay then, are we ready? And off we went. We went down to the police station, Hammersmith police station it was. As we're walking down the road, we must have looked like a scene out of Reservoir Dogs, but with a little bit of a difference. This is the original Reservoir Dogs. You know that by now, some of you, yeah? This is what we looked like. We were all pretty much dressed the same, but with this one, we had him there, right smack in the middle, our little Pat walking down the road with us. He didn't stick out much, I tell you. And we got to Hammersmith Police Station, and we were escorted round the back. Well, I say round the back, it's a side entrance that we go into because we're special cases. And we went into this... into the side entrance and down the stairs where it's really dark and bloody miserable down there. It's horrible. It's like there's no windows or anything in the room that they put us all into. And as we were about to go into this room, we opened the door, and believe it or not, I knew 3 of the people sitting there waiting for the police lineup as well. Now, when police struggle to get a gang of guys to do a lineup, they go round to all their bloody tow rags and see if they're interested in earning £4 to just stand there. And 3 of them I knew from my council estate that I grew up on. And I was thinking to myself, I hope one of you are not the guys that's in the frame. You know, I didn't know whether the guy was already there or they're going to bring him down or what. Anyhow, it wasn't them. So we all lined up, including Pat, yeah. Bright blonde hair. He was the only person in the room with bright blonde hair. He was the only person in the room that was under 6 foot by quite a way, and he was at the end of the line. I mean, it might as well have been all black guys in the lineup and then Pat, or vice versa, all white guys and then just one black guy. It was just so, he just stuck out like a sore thumb, and no one said anything. No one said anything at all. And even the guy that was brought down to fit in the lineup, he was asked, do you object to anyone here? And obviously if he pointed to you, you had to go out and you lose your £4. He didn't say anything. He said, no, everyone's fine. And he got into the lineup where he wanted to fit, and he stood there rather, and the woman came down and walked along the line. She didn't look at Pat at all. For some strange reason, she didn't look at Pat at all. And but I'll tell you what though, she picked out the wrong guy. Yeah, she picked out the wrong guy, and that guy got taken upstairs to be questioned. So be careful when you go on police lineups. Anyway, we're coming to the end of the journey now, and hopefully you enjoyed the tales from the cab, just to show you the sort of thing that I did working for the government. Yes, all fun and games. Anyway, we're just going to be pulling in here, and then I will show you exactly what I got paid extra for that little bit that you've just seen. So what we're looking at now is the extra bit, okay? I was paid £10.72 to do the first bit, and that second bit that we've just seen, I was paid a whopping 1p more. 1p more to go down the hill, wait at the level crossing, go round the one-way system and drop my customers off there. A whopping 1p more. It doesn't even say that I had a drop in this receipt thing here. 1p. That's Uber for you, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye for now.